I don't know if they can hear it, but try this. Today, we talked about lead follow-up. Oh, by the way, Evelyn, sorry, I already said it. Okay, the guy sitting in behind, all the way to the back, is Brian. Everyone, that's Brian, my husband and a business partner. We're Brian family, the team. He's just here to bother me. Well, so let's, while people are still coming on the Zoom, let's talk about Tuesday, which was the follow-up. We just want to pick over you. Follow everything. So, the follow-up, it's not just for the lead. You do lead generation, now you got the lead, somebody who said you need to know buying or selling real estate. So there are leads, and now lead is what you do after the lead generation is lead follow-up. Lead follow-up is not for just lead, it's actually for everyone in your database. Everyone, do you use command for your database? Yeah. Okay. How about you?
Look at my license, I'm just.
Good for you. Well, Keller Williams, you have a free database, CRM, customer client management. And it's command, it's free. It comes with what's your if you're a Keller Williams agent. And yesterday we talked about the lead, whoever in your database, even your friends or family, they may not be yeah, I guess I should say, you're not the only agent they know. They most likely could be in, if they're interested in buyer or home seller, you know, could be in anybody, any other agent's database. So how do we stay on top of them when they are ready to sell a house or buy a house? And we talked about you do by doing the lead follow-up. That's how you stay in touch with them and stay on top of their mind when they're ready. But if you're not first or two names that comes in your head when comes in their head, you're probably not gonna get it. Yesterday, not in this session, but the follow up, we have this graph. Don't know if you can see the people. All right, can you come here for me? Because I'm too short. Can you show them the camera over there? In class, let's look at this. If I block camera, there's no whole mic. So, yeah, can you see this? Okay. Basically what he has is like this kind of graph. Can you see? Yeah. So this is when you meet somebody first time. Say, I'm interested in buying. Can you point that one? Yeah, met. Yeah, this is when you met your lead, and this. You got it? Yeah. Okay. This is when they are ready to do something, buy or sell finally. And this between right here is the lead follow-up. Depending on the lead, it could be 2 months, 2 weeks, it could be years. And our job, why we do these follow-up is to stay on top of their mind until until they get met to that when actually ready to transact. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Ben. So, and the lead follow-up is to turn leads from just somebody who's interested into probable business. And today we're going to talk about how to convert lead into an appointment. The lead possible business to probable business. That's what we're going to talk about today. But yesterday, on Tuesday, the last session, we talked about the system, that Keller Williams has 19 to connect and 36 to contact, to touch, so 36 touch, thank you. And I was a little confused, the thing that was between 1 to submit, we need to clarify that. So 19 to connect is for leads that, well, you haven't really had a connection, like only one-way connection, one-way communication, you haven't really had a two-way communication. For example, online leads that somebody signed up to your website, or some inquiry that came in from your flyer or newsletter or something like that. You really haven't had a two-way communication. Those are the leads going into 19 to connect. 19 to connect. So you can have a two-way connection, a two-way conversation. You get to know them. And once you do, they go into the 36 touch. So those are the two different systems that Keller Williams have. And the 1 to 7 is when you have two-way communication. So I just want to clarify that because I wasn't really clear on that one Tuesday. So, and we talked about when you follow up, what to focus on. We talked about come from contribution, always come from a contribution. We also talked about providing value, information, support they need, and the people do business they like. So don't need to sell things. It's not all about us. I mean, we have to sell ourselves, but in a way, coming from contribution. And we talked about providing the market stats. I think I gave a couple places to check out. I don't know if anybody did. It's a great free resource, but it's all about real estate market and the data, and you can utilize that to educate your client, also share the message, and you become so experts when you know your numbers. Okay, so that was about quick summary of what we talked about on Tuesday. Any question about that? Anybody? Great. All right, so let's talk about lead conversion. Oh. So I have something for you. I don't have a pre-print out, but if you, I'll put my email in the chat if you like. Please email me. This is do the database 2 chart. When you lead follow up, one of the ways to make sure you reach out to every single person in your database is to go by the alphabet of their first name or last name. I think this is for last name. So there will be no lead follow up bias. Meaning, so like, I don't know if you can see good, but I'll give this to you. So this one says every week, 2 alphabets are assigned. First week, A and W. So that week, you reach out to anybody in the database with the A and the W last name. And it goes so on, it goes on all the way down. Think about 13 weeks rotation. And magically, if you follow this system, you can contact them 4 times a year. Remember the 19 to connect and 36 to touch, both have 4 phone calls a year spread out through the year. If you follow the system, no brainer. You get the touch, we get the phone call. You get the phone call to them 4 times a year. So, well, let me put that chat in there before I forget. So send me your email so I can send a PDF over to you if you're interested. Okay. Any question about that? Are we good? People? Yeah. Okay. Oh. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions. I'm looking this way for that. Okay, so let's go through. Do you have a manual? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hidden slide. So today we talk about follow up with lead. In main conversation, we converting leads into an appointment. So we talked about lead conversion first, and then we talked about how to convert a lead to an appointment. And at the end, we talk about improve your conversion rate. So. So we already mentioned that why we do lead follow-up, you lead generate, and naturally next step is lead follow-up. And lead conversion is actually essential part of a lead follow-up. And so what's lead conversion? Lead conversion is you're turning into lead into appointments. Appointment meaning it could be with the seller, it could be listing appointment, a pre-listing appointment, or preview appointment, something like that. And buyer could be showing appointment or buyer consultation. Okay, yeah. What do you think? Lead conversion.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. So when you're converting your lead into an active client, let's put it that way.
Mhm.
Your lead becomes your actual active client.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between, when you're actually converting them.
Yeah, you are without the lead conversion, the lead won't become your client.
That's right.
Yeah, and then without appointment and your lead becoming client, there will be no potential sales. You won't, just how you get into the sales or the listing, eventually there'll be a paycheck.
That's the goal.
That's the goal, exactly. Yeah, so lead follow-up, its main goal is lead conversion. Converting into an appointment, basically making your lead into your client. So, this quote from Gary Keller, the effort you give to converting lead must match the effort you give to lead generating. Any thoughts on that and why it should be equally important? Evelyn?
Because I think if you don't try to convert, you're never gonna get that, the transaction.
What do you think?
I agree with her. I mean, if you can convert, come up buyer or something, then there's no way you're ever gonna sell.
I'm gonna pick somebody on like the what you guys are purchasing.
And it doesn't matter if you have 1 million leads, if you can't convert them. You can have all the leads in the world, but if you don't convert them, you never get paid.
Could you hear that, Sandra? Or anybody on Zoom? Well, you're
Yeah.
what they say, okay. Yeah, so you can have 1 million leads, but if you don't convert them into your client, that's the end of the story. Nothing happens. You won't be having seller clients or buyer clients. So it's really important, as important as generating leads. You have no leads without lead generating, so that's the first step, but it's equally important because you won't have your clients without conversion. We close this. Okay, so if you have your manual, if you go to the lead conversion process, might be easier to see. So the number one is, I do it least. Well, number one is capture. That's when you capture your contact information, the least contact information, something so you can get in touch with them. And then you go to connect. So now you have a two-way conversation with them. And if you're figuring out, basically you do lead follow-up, figuring out what they need, how you can help, providing value, so they will find you as the agent they want to work with. But even though when you do lead conversion, meaning ask for an appointment to meet with you, or basically have an appointment with you, not every single person will stay at the first time, right? Because not every lead is at the same
Same place.
yeah, same place. They might not be ready, they may be ready. So they might say no. And then yesterday, somebody else mentioned about the rejection, that they're not ready, they're not interested. That's totally normal. It happens every single day, every single age, right, Christine? They'll say, no, I'm not ready.
That's the
Or-
majority.
Yeah. They never say that, no, majority. It's just a natural thing, but they're not saying no to you. Remember, they're not saying no to you, they're just saying, no, not yet, or not, I'm not ready at this time. So it's easy for us to get personally, you know, any rejection, any no's, even though it's coming from a complete stranger. But it is totally normal, especially when you're starting in a business, you really want the business and you're trying hard. And then somebody says, no, I'm not ready yet. After all, after 10 times, 20 times, it's really discouraging. But it's not personal. Just keep that in mind.
Or sometimes you can talk to them, they think they're not ready. The more you talk to them, you might find out they might actually be open to it too.
Yeah,
That's part of the follow-up.
yeah, exactly. That's when you're giving value, giving information about a market. A lot of times they need to be guided through to get to the decision. And that's your job. And that's what you do through lead follow-up time. So when people are not ready, they tell you, no, I'm not ready. They may be really not ready. They might need some time to improve their credit, or they might need to still build up their down payment, or whatever the reason. They go straight to on the side, number 4, cultivate phase. That's like that we just talked about, follow up throughout whatever the time they need until they are ready. So this is the chart thing that we talked personality comment. So this is what I wanted to show you and take a with that, because this doesn't really explain much, but when you put in a timeline like that, you can see it could be a long time, it could be immediate. You never know. And we really cannot force them. All we can do is, like Christy said, guide them to make the right the decision, educated decision. And close, this close means it's not closing a sale, it's closing for an appointment. This is what the lead conversion means. And this is Keller Williams model. So so FYI, if you go to different company, it might be different thing. But this is all about Keller Williams model. Keller Williams have all the models and system for every little things. So 19 to touch, connect is a system, and 36 to touch is also the next system we have. Okay. So since I don't have to raise it, so lead generation creates profitable business. The follow-up and lead conversion also is to make your lead into probable business. No. Okay. So far, any ads? I need to have to use this computer. Anyone? Anyone on the Zoom, please talk to me. You're not too quiet. Okay, I'm going to point to Michael. Hi. I'm trying. Yeah, okay, fine. And Crystal. Hi, Crystal, or Kevin. Rosemary, or Sandra. Anybody? We're gonna have a real quick class, guys. We're gonna go right through, which is fine with me. Okay, well, anyway. Then we just move on. Okay, now how to convert to a lead to an appointment. Okay. Might be down with 30 minutes, y'all. Oh, I guess I just went through everything already. Oh no, maybe I need to slow down. Okay, well, so far, any questions? Yes. Pretty. So yesterday, I mean, the class before, I was supposed to only talk about what is lead follow-up. So we kind of went through everything at the same time. So we'll just go deeper today. But so far, anything, any question or concern, your experience about lead follow-up? How's your lead follow-up experience been so far? I'll come back to you. How about you?
Probably having conversations with them, I would say, my sphere of influence. Just always keeping in touch.
Okay, how about you, Jose? How's your lead follow-up or lead generation experience? Okay.
It's inviting together.
But it's never too early to start. No. That's when you should start the actual.
And yesterday, remember we talked about You don't have the phone number, it's like, yeah, email, contact information, phone to start. Yeah, you don't need to have a full farm and all that kind of stuff, you can start there. And, secondly, it's just people you already know are doing business with you quickly. Like 80% of the market of the agent's business come from referral or repeat business or the business from database. So, but then you have people to call. If you're licensed already, yeah, you can start calling. But if you have people to.
I do.
Yeah, very good. And.
I have something to add.
Please do.
Sometimes if we have a lead, we feel it's a good one, and we have their address, we'll actually mail them a postcard,
Absolutely, yeah.
handwritten postcard, great meeting you. With our business card in there again, because we already gave them 5 when we met.
Yeah.
Hit them again, hit them in a minute. Handwritten postcard. Mail it to them. Don't email them, mail it.
Yeah, remember we talked about on Tuesday, email's great, it's easy, simple, but if it doesn't go in, it doesn't get open. No effect, nothing. Same thing with text, they might read it, but then, even though I'm gonna get, I don't remember who that is. Yeah, it's good to always have a handwritten part, like for example, open house is coming with the net. You exchange your information, but it's really good to sort of like cement on top of what initial meeting by saying handwritten, which most people don't do these days. It means it's, sort of like me, but like I would really
The fact that if you do that, that could make you stand out from the other 5 real estate agents they met on the weekend.
Yeah, they remember.
You're the only one that actually took the time to write something, put a stamp on it, and mail it. That's what it just might take for them to pick you as their agent.
Like a personal touch, personal care, personal touch that most agents don't do. So that's a great, thank you for sharing that. Yes, Brian.
And on one more note too, remember everybody's on a different timeline, so some people it could take a week for you to follow up and then you get something. Others it could take years. We still have people, that we met a while ago that are gonna be selling and we've been following up different ways, every which way for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and they might not respond to you for like first 5 times, 6 times, 8 times, but all of a sudden at the 8th time, they're like, oh, thank you for your update. One liner, you never know. So the goal is to basically not give up, keep following until they tell you, stop, I'm gonna report you or whatever the reason. Until then,
Or you get something out of it.
yeah. You just keep in touch with them until, they tell you to stop or because you never know when their time is. And, so
I think to add on to that, you sent me, I think we raised a lot too, really, the difference between a good agent and just an average agent is a lot of times average agent. We've heard the average time, so not all of that, well, maybe 3 times for most certain agents, but to actually be able to capture and convert that lead, we think over at least 7 times.
Yeah.
Times.
it's getting longer than before.
It is,
too. Yeah, just because we're exposed to so many. And then people are busy, and so they are ready, they don't really connect to you, they're getting interest. And depending on who they are, you definitely wanna find out what's the best communication way with that particular lead. Some people may prefer only phone calls or email or text them. You never know, and then you degenerate. So you do the lead follow-up in the morning and they're not responding, you might wanna try afternoon lead follow-up. Because they might be working, they can't respond whatsoever, and in the afternoon, they could maybe forget to respond back to you. But try in the afternoon or the weekend and see if they will respond to your lead follow-up. Try text, if not, follow up with phone call. And then you email and then mail. Why not?
Don't give up.
Yeah, one way or another, as long as you're getting to them, and then repeat and repeat and repeat until they become probable business, and have a 2-way conversation, and become your clients.
And use a system that's gonna remind you to do stuff.
Oh, Pitches Command. There's a whole other class about the command system. Our office also offers, and if you Google or YouTube, Scott Leroy, marketing marketing. There's so many videos on how to do everything that you can do in Command. And then we have a tech, his name is Brian.
Sean has.
Yes, you can reach out to him, you can have one-on-one Zoom appointment with him, and he'll like seriously walk you through all the way to anything that you have a question about. Command. You're welcome. So. I guess we'll just go deeper with the lead capture. So when you do lead generation, you want to, we talked about it, you want to get the contact information, how you want to get in touch with you. Without being able to connect to any leads, there's nothing happens, and you won't be able to follow up, you only have links. So definitely get the contact information.
The more you can get, the better.
And then you go to,
Thank you.
so this is the good conversation for the lead capture. You can ask your lead, if I were to need to contact you, what would be the best number? Or if I found exactly what you're looking for, how could I contact you? If I found out the information you're wanting, you don't have to say it this way, but you can figure out how to say it. But this is an example of how you can get their contact information. We're talking about lead follow-up. The part of the lead follow-up, we have to, we're talking about the lead conversion. It's a part of the lead follow-up. You can regenerate all day long without using leads, but if you don't convert the leads into your client or appointments, it's something else. There's no sales, there's no patient. Yeah, so we're talking about it today. So now you have your leads contact information. You do go to the phase 2 of lead conversion, which is connecting with them. And this is kind of what we went through yesterday. Connect and we do your lead follow up by providing valuable information. And I don't know in the class we do role play or practice. No, okay. So yeah, but in your manual, I believe there's some scripts for you. I don't have that in the slide, but I was told that you have a script, conversation, dialogue guidelines. You do. Do you have that in your manual, student manual, like scripts for how to about lead follow up? I don't have, but really?
Yes, there is.
In
I
the
have 6 connection questions.
oh, okay. Well,
See that?
if you like some of the,
Page 168.
thank you. Don't know what kind of question there are, but they like to follow up.
Find it, 168, 169.
There you go, the page 160, 169, lead follow up.
I don't know how to use that. But there's only a question.
Yeah, it's just question you can ask to connect with the lead, figure out if those questions will guide you to find out more about them, what they need, how you can help.
And then after you guys need more, we have more. We
Yeah.
have more scripts for you to get some.
If you like more scripts, conversation guidelines for lead follow-up, please email me and I will share text follow-up, email follow-up, conversation follow-up, all that stuff. So you can use when you need follow-up, so you can get to know the leads more, better and get mind share. So other than just finding out what the clients need or your leads need during the connect time, it's also to get mind share. It's kind of the same thing with the cultivating phase too. You want to be on top of their mind. Remember, they are exposed to other agents. Even though he or she is in your database, they are also most likely in other agents' database too. So lead follow up, connect, keep in touch with them to stay on top of their mind. So the last practice guideline here, know the outcome you want from a conversation before starting. And use questions to lead the conversation. Those are the questions I think is in the manual. Okay. But I don't know what question you have, but I think so. So connecting, cultivate, base, they're both building foundation of your working relationship with the leads. And so the goal of doing that is to make them get them to the appointment phase. So they will meet with you. An appointment for the buyer, for example, buyer consultation, you have a class about it. And the listing presentation with the seller, all that, you have actual full on in-night class. So we don't go in detail today, but those are the appointments you're aiming for when you are following up with them. Okay. There's actually 3 tips to when you do the lead follow-up to conversion. Kind of feel like I'm repeating the same thing, but it's really the same thing we really need to focus on. So when you're following up your value as hyperlocal agent, Alex, yes. How do you become a hyperlocal expert?
Is by focusing on a particular niche of area, let's say, for example, in Portland, you can focus on a block or section of the block, maybe like 3 blocks, and you could have a campaign drip or another drip for those areas. You go door knocking by doing a campaign and go door knocking and calling that particular area, and also looking at another. People become an expert in that area.
Yeah, knowing
Knowing the area.
particular area extensively.
Yeah.
Yeah, like super hyper local. That's what the real estate, it was like Torrance, for example, you have a south, northeast, and central,
Yeah.
and all a little bit different from each other.
Mhm.
So becoming hyper local experts for that particular client, know the stats of that particular neighborhood.
Yeah.
And if you remember we shared about the Inforce Parks yesterday. If you have an MLS access, it's free, it's great, and you can just have that open when you're talking to your client. And if that particular client lives in the Hawthorne, a particular area of Hawthorne, you can just look it up and while you're having a conversation, you know, yeah, the market is shifting. But the last month in July, you didn't, you can share like, actually, the new listing came out a lot more than June. But yeah, number of sales going down, but year-over-year creation, in that particular neighborhood for single family home is actually still about 6% or 10%, whatever the number is.
Mhm.
Just sharing the number, all that is you're super hyper local expert. But all you do is just reading the information on the page, but they don't need to know. And you can, great thing about that, having that Inforce Parks is that you can customize that to your client, the people who live in Hawthorne area or people live in Torrance, and as you're having a conversation, and you can share that information. People like graphs too, so you can share the graph and everything to their email, text message, or you can post on your social media too. It's a great tool, free, so you might not use it. Okay, so that's one idea, like I said, become super hyper local.
Yeah.
And then for that particular client, you have a right, right, because you know.
Yeah.
That particular neighborhood. And build the confidence. Well, you can build the confidence by knowing market stats. How many houses came on the market last month or last week in this particular neighborhood? Those kind of things gives you confidence, because we all knew, starts from somewhere, I don't have a year to experience. I was like too, I was not confident at all, I don't know anything, I never bought a home at the time, so I just had no idea. how you get confidence is knowing the stock, knowing the market, go preview, brokers open, price open houses, know what's available. So when you're talking to client, you can share that information with them. Surprisingly, most agents cannot do that. So if you want to differentiate from the rest of them and stand out, know your stats, know your market.
Is the whole part just for agents or is it just the website that just goes to?
It's, I believe it's for agents on, because it's part of the MLS and only,
New agents.
active agents that pay membership to MLS. So I believe it's on the page.
It is, it's on, it's,
It's not for public.
no,
And then it's a monthly stats too, but you can go all the way back to 5 years ago. Yeah, anywhere. It's very useful. You can sort by school, district, city, MLS, neighborhood, zip code. So, very useful information.
We all this information in MLS.
Yes. If I know how to get out of this screen, if I have time later, I can sort. I don't know how to get out of this. Maybe you could help me. Yeah, so, oh, actually, we do have some. There you go, those are the questions, 6 connecting questions when you're talking to the, to guide them to basically conversion. Who are they? What do they want? What do they need to do? Where do they want? Where do they need to do it? Why do they want? Why need to do it? When do they want? When need to do it? How do they plan to do it? If I still both sellers and buyers. Kind of weird question, not it? You're like, oh, let's break it down. So who are the other buyer or seller? Remember last Tuesday, we talked about there's so many different types of sellers and buyers, first-time buyers, move-up sellers, investor buyers. So finding out who are they is that question. And what do they want to do? Do they want to buy a home or investment property? Do they want to do 1031 exchange? Or if it's a seller, do they want to sell their my home or their investment property? And or it's just like they want to move out of the state or area. So all that why, basically finding out why they are they want to do it. And where do you want to do it? Where need to do it? Do they need to be in a particular area or a particular school? And why do they want to do it? They'll say, yeah, I want to buy a home. I want to be a homeowner, but there's always there's something behind that too. So by asking questions, doing lead follow-up, you'll find out why do they really want to move into Torrance? Yeah, because I want to buy a home. Yeah, but in Torrance, why is that? You know what I mean? It's like peeling layers, little by little, because everybody has a layer. And when you meet, you have no idea what they are. By asking questions, they do follow up, connecting them, you will find out exactly what they are. They're not going to give you A to Z or, this is what I want to very rarely. It's our job to asking questions and to find out what they really want. And these are the guidelines to figure that out. And when do they want to do it? Do they need to be in this particular, do they need to buy their home by the end of that year for the tax purposes or by June or July for the school enrollment timeline? You never know. But so that's how you figure it out by asking questions. And another thing, how do they plan to do it? Do they have to sell a house to buy a house? Those kind of things. Because how you're going to be able to help them and then give value to them, it depends on asking these questions. So you know what they are and what they need and what they want. Any question about that?
Question that I have is that all this the PowerPoint, every single PowerPoint is in a manual tool.
It's in the manual, yeah. Next to the manual, those questions.
Sometimes they can-
Yeah, from here, it's in that page, one of the pages of the section.
Yes.
they want to see it.
I don't have a manual, but if you don't have, you only have it. It's somewhere in that pages. Yes, and when you do lead follow-up, one thing we definitely recommend you do is document your conversation. In Command, if you create the lead as a contract, you can always, document a note or I think under activity, you can choose, you made a call, email, text, or whatever, and then make a note of what conversation. You can do that, and then we will use Command or any other database. I believe there is a way to document the lead follow-up. Let's say I just talked to Evelyn about home buying, and she's not quite ready yet, I'm gonna follow up again. But it could be, it won't be tomorrow or 2 weeks from now, so I might not remember. So I'm just gonna write down the consult, she is not yet pre-approved, I just refer to 3 vendors that I work with, so follow up with her in about 2 weeks or so. See how the process is going. So next time, when time comes for me to follow up with Evelyn, I'll just look it up, Evelyn, and read about my notes are, and then I can just have a better conversation when I follow up with her next time. Yeah, so it's critical to have documents, but we won't remember it.
Sure.
Yeah, and if you don't
Especially
have,
when you have a lot of clients.
exactly, more you lead generation, more leads you have, more you do open house, you're gonna tell each everybody. And open house, for example, you have a client in every day. You know, you're not gonna remember every single person that walked in, especially what they needed, what I know. I was always writing down after they leave if I can, at least what they were buyer, home seller, first time I wasn't any, if I had a deeper conversation. And also it's good to, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'll say if I can, so I think just looking at those questions, I think there were 6 really great important questions because that actually, I would kind of consider them all right questions for your clients possible, because those are some of the questions that will help you determine either if you want, we were talking about lead category or just actual active client category. So those will help you determine which category to put those into leads. Because especially the question number 4, the why, that's what you really want to get to the root of, because that will tell you the
That's their motivation. Why is there motivation? Logic makes sense, right? Emotion makes sense. So catching the motivation.
is most important.
Mhm.
Or that's why you know how quickly they need to move, where you can put them, categorize them. A, B, C, find your dollar.
Well, then, if you bring that up, yeah, you don't want to spend your time on the buyer who are not going to be able to buy for next year or 2, right? You want to spend quality time to the buyer who's who's willing, able, and capable buyers. So these questions will help you, and if you follow up getting to know them, never feeling later, will let you categorize, prioritize actually your buyers and tell the client. That way you can spend your time on the client who are more probable business than maybe in the future probable business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's really critical to figure out every single lead. We should have A, B, C categories. A, ready to go, willing and capable. B, getting ready to get to A. C, needs some work.
Here, there.
You never know, everybody you meet, they're on a different timeline, and we can guide them, we can educate them, but we cannot force them to do something, it will not be a good relationship. Yeah, so you can guide them and all that, but you do not want to spend really time on the buyers who ask you to show property, after 30 property, they never make one offer because they actually can't qualify for that one yet, but they want, they're working on it. You never know. So it is critical to.
When you could be working with your A clients,
Yeah.
you know, that's fine, that you could be spending on your A clients.
Yeah, you don't want to miss out on an A client because you're too busy on the C.
That's right.
Yeah. That's good, especially on the buyers.
Probably best to like have a client being pre-approved before you're going to try to do any of those type of work.
It depends. Yeah, technically on a textbook, yes. Have a buyer pre-approved, right? First, before you take out them to the buyer and showing, but then today, they can get showing appointment through anywhere, anybody. You don't have to, you know,
Yeah.
like back then, before Zillow read those times, you needed to make an appointment.
Yeah.
They could just click on a Zillow or Redfin or whatever other websites to say, I wanna show this, I mean, they always have this schedule showing here, kind of, they can do that, so they don't really need you particularly to see that house, or they can just go somewhere.
Yeah.
So if they reach out to you and they're not yet pre-approved, have all this conversation. And ask them about the pre-approval and say, no, not yet. Well, I'm gonna give you some later information. Have a conversation with them, seek to pre-approval, because if you love their home, then you're gonna get pre-approved. It's gonna take good, probably 2 to 3 days for the first time, but they have to gather information on their own and they submit to the lender, and then they'll have to do their thing. And I just got it down in the 24 hours, but that was not the first time buyer. They had it already ready to go, and then there was a processing everything like that, the approval within 24 hours, but that just. Most of the time, it doesn't happen over 1 year or 2 days, and you may, the buyer may sell if they are not ready to go, if they love that house. Right? So I'll tell them, yeah, it's connected with the lender, and it's to be approved, and if they hesitate,
Yeah.
then that's a red flag to start with. Find out why they don't want to, they don't want to share. Maybe we need to ask other questions, and also maybe need to build a little bit more rapport relationship, so they are open to communicate about that topic. Yeah, but I have, and I do show houses to the somebody completely, I don't know, new buyer they came online or something, after I have a conversation. And then I'll show one house, just one time, so I don't spend too much time. And at that time, at the showing on a face to face, I'll have a whole long conversation with them. And I'll qualify the buyer. If I want to continue to work with them, and I'll find out, ask those questions, find out where they are in the timeline, how ready are they, are capable or willing by having a conversation with them. And then decide how I can guide them to ready to go buyer. Because if I say, no, they probably go to different agents. Yeah.
And that goes with what Sammy was saying about providing value, so you might be introducing them to your team of lenders that provide value. That's how you provide.
And if you need a lender, we have 2 in-house lenders. Chris and Fernando, I know them ever since I got licensed. So they've been around forever and ever. Their experience, they're recommended. They have a great team, so if you have any other questions, you got at least 2 lenders available for you. Yeah. Any questions so far? Anybody? Oh, there's one chat. Okay, I'll send it to you, Kevin. Anybody? Sandra? Oh, let's take it here. Oh. I'm just gonna follow you. Okay, let's move on. So we already kind of talked about it. If they are not ready to be converted into an appointment, they won't get thrown away. You just put it in a calculator, basically same 36 touch plan, and then you're gonna keep following up and following up, like we talked about earlier. So this is from Chipper, from Gary Keller. You can't know or predict when they will come to a decision, when they're ready to buy some real estate. But if you are reconnecting with them systematic way, which is 36 touch, you will have a great chance of being there when they do, being top of their mind. You'll be the go-to person when they're ready to buy or sell real estate. That's when you'll be able to close one appointment that day. So when they're ready, that's when conversion happens. That's when you ask for an appointment and they'll say yes. Sometimes you do conversion first and they say yes first. And throughout, for example, buyer consultation appointments, they say yes to it, and you find out they might not be ready. They might be actually a B category buyer. They have to guide them to make it to that phase. You find out, and also seller too. You go to listing appointment, they might be super deep on the listing. Then you'll find out, and in that case, and they're not ready to sell. After you meet them, they might say, yeah, I'll think about it, and then they're not ready. Even though they said yes, and then you went on an appointment, if they're not going to move forward with you, until they say, no, can you stop following up with me or something? They go back to cultivate your touch follow-up system. And the follow-up system is that I know William 36 touch from 2. For 36 touches throughout the year, doesn't have to be this order, or you can have like 4 phone calls, 12 emails. Yeah.
In person,
Yeah.
contact,
Just an idea, you should customize it, and you start with 1. And have a seller follow-up, buyer follow-up. And you should also have a database follow-up. So people you already know, but they are not the buyer or seller piece, like your friends, family members, your doctors, or whoever you know. They should also be touch campaign, so you'll be on top of their mind. Does that make sense? I don't know what you talked about earlier, but when asking for appointment, which format do you think most effective? Oh, that's a good question. What do you think? Don't ask again. What do you think? Anybody? Yeah, what do you think?
we'll have to follow on them. We format.
No, I
Um,
I would say phone
in
call or
person, I'll say in person.
It's probably like you think both actually right. Probably the most effective is the phone call in person. Yeah, probably like more like a phone call because in person,
If you're on the,
harder.
if
Yeah,
you're on the phone,
most
it's
likely. Yeah,
if you're in person talking to somebody, you always have that connection. You come to the office.
yeah. But this is to ask for an appointment. Yeah. So with phone call and in person. That'd be great. So in person could be like when you have an open house, somebody
Right.
walks in, you just need to in a house.
Yeah.
And then Christy and Chris will ask this potential seller at a time. Because it sounds like it wants to get together, to go over, explore your options with the seller. Probably 30 minutes, even though it's not 30 minutes. Probably takes about 30 minutes. They like to meet, I don't know, but I personally prefer to go to their house because I see what we're gonna be selling. Yeah, but you could have that kind of conversation in person, or most of the time, probably when you do follow-up, so phone call. Email too, you can do email text too, but effective, most effective way is phone call with non-person. Sorry, my Mac goes the other way. It's a long quote, but please read. In the end, if you can meet and have a good enough reason to meet, they will meet. And if they don't, they won't. And that's okay. You really don't care what their answer ultimately is because you're not getting people to do anything they don't want. We kind of talk about that, right? You're just going to ask and respond until they agree that meeting with you, with us, makes sense, or it doesn't. Either way, you both win for very fair. Right? What do you think about that? This.
Thank you.
Cannot make them do anything. I would do guidance too.
What they're trying to, they want.
Yeah, because Cal Williams, I was supposed to mention about the reading system. Are you familiar with that? WI4C2PES. So that both is basically referring to our Cal Williams reading system. We learn with you that kind of thing. It's very summary. Okay, well, let's take quick 10 minutes break, and then we'll be back 12:10. And then we fire through everything, and then we'll get to do Q&A, and then we talk about everybody's question, any particular question in your business. I think that'll be very useful.
Like on the west side. I find it so hard. It's crazy. That needs to be.
I think we can,
Thank you.
that's what I think. So far.
Thank you. And if you know what, we are the support.
Yeah.
I think.
I think you should have some practice. Practice. And the ability to this, you guys have practice. But if you go in there and you don't exude any confidence, they're not gonna hire you.
Then you will be
You have to practice. Practice for your friends, practice for your family members, practice.
Role play.
Yeah, yes. I'm so.
Yeah,
I'm quite, right? I know.
yeah, you're brand new agent, you go in some, you won't be lucky enough to get a sit with a client, potential client. You don't have enough confidence, if you don't think you have confidence,
That's right.
you're never gonna hire.
Scripters on. Yeah. No script here.
Well, they'll pay the instructor to add that.
Yeah, but like, I like, sometimes they didn't have with your student manual either, I don't think.
Practice.
But that's all I got. You know, what does Francis bring scripts for, we follow from the that?
I just used Gary's, he had like a booklet with like
So
different scripts
Yeah.
for different
Good.
situation.
Good.
So I just go here, I pick whichever that's tailored to what I'm trying to do. If I'm going to like a listing at the open house, and I'm going to open house this Saturday. So I go to the cell and pick up the listing one, I kind of read it over, then I adjust it how I put here to me. Then I call. So I role play a little bit, then I call.
But that, one thing I thought was in the do, right, to like, not me, but if you're talking, maybe you might talking to Christie, like, you know, like, why are you talking funny to me?
Yeah.
No, we're gonna be more, when you, complete stranger, you talk about it. You know, you don't need to-
But, yeah,
But the sleep is just a guideline, right?
Yeah.
You make it come to the key points, so you can fill the layers.
yeah,
You have to
I like it. You're like, I don't usually say things like this, you know what I mean, especially when I'm communicating with a friend or a circle of.
Then you.
Yeah, you cater, yeah,
Right.
then you cater to yourself and then, yeah. And also, while you're doing that, also, you look with, speaking professionally, like things that is more, some keyword and efficient with other people, just kind of add that into your repertoire. That's kind of what I'm doing.
That is true, because if you're using the whole conversation, but it doesn't sound like you, then in a way you sound unconfident too.
Yeah.
But when you make it your own, then that's so confident.
Yeah, it just,
What is this?
Yeah.
this is for, recall. So anybody in our database should be getting in touch, by phone call 4 times a year, right?
Mhm.
That's part
4
of
times
that.
a year?
4 times, yeah, throughout the year.
Okay.
And typically recommend at least once a quarter, once in 3 months, every 3 months. And then to avoid follow-up biases,
Mhm.
these follow-up biases.
Mhm.
So these are the alphabets, all the alphabets divided into 2 pairs
Mhm.
for over the 13 weeks, which is about 3 months, right?
Mhm.
So this week, let's say this week 1, then you follow up everybody with the last name with the A and W.
Mhm.
And the next day, next week you do B and E, so every week you cover everyone, so you don't skip.
It's okay. Okay.
Yeah, so that way every single person in the database will be touched by it.
Now,
This is a system, another system on Keller Williams.
okay, if their name started with the A and A or W,
Yeah, and
that's will be the first or their last name.
this is last name.
So this is based on last name.
Yeah, they pair these 2 alphabets together.
Mhm.
They did, everything is researched because Keller Williams, so everything is researched, right? So.
Mhm.
I guess the sum of the letters has a majority of the letters they compared to the number of percentage different. They
Yeah.
pair that with like, for example, not many do,
Okay.
Starting with last name with the
Okay.
U.
You pair with.
Okay, with an F, it's more common.
Okay.
Yeah. That way, 1 week when we overrun things.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah,
Oh,
please. And I'll give everything in the research, everything down and proven system.
Yeah.
So this is just a gift.
Oh, thank you, appreciate it.
yeah.
This is very helpful. I will definitely.
Oh, do the database to better understand.
I don't want to create a folder, all this.
I'm sure
good
we already
information.
have it.
Yeah. You got so many papers there, it's like, how many about to find? I get you.
Yeah, but that is just one system that we use to make sure we catch it. Yeah.
They could also touch everybody right in the alphabet.
And then I believe, so this is 2021, it's basically the same. You can pick
Yeah,
up
it's the
any
same.
week one,
Yeah.
and then you can add, I couldn't find this, but there's also a text message version too. So on top of the A and W, there's a random, another T or something out of the letter, and you can send text message. So throughout the year, 4 times a year, they get text message. And then when I say default, you
Automatic. That's all.
you kind of, but it comes usually from a different number than you, and it's not really you. So I
That's all.
So, yeah, it's better if we would, because like, yeah, like your friends and clients, just check it out on your social media, what they did recently, and you can mention that in your text message. And that's all of a sudden genetics to personal, that personal touch. Probably human, I feel like, okay, it's like, I don't know what they do, but supposedly quality touch, that's the plain, information. And when I say the follow-up, it's all about the real, you don't have to always talk about the real, especially when you're with friends and families or past clients, anybody. It's just a pure lead and not really focus on the conversation about real estate, but it's always good to have a care call, meaning just talk about their life, how it's been. Or, if you guys go for FORD, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. It's a guy.
Okay.
Yeah, talk about how it's family. I saw you guys, everyone in your family went to Disneyland last weekend. How was it? Just that kind of conversation. To occupation, how you find how's working? Are you working remotely still, or is it hybrid? Are you going back to office already? That kind of start conversation. Or if people are recreation. I guess have you end of summer is almost over. Schools are back in school. What you guys do? This summer, you fun if you guys go traveling anywhere? Just that kind of conversation. And then eventually, people want to talk about them, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like listening about you. So let them talk, share information, and then usually they're like, hey, how's the market? I'm hearing like, how can you change? So that kind of conversation actually pops up. Then you do your real estate thing. Yeah, does that make sense? So it doesn't have to be about business. And if it doesn't happen, then the real estate conversation doesn't happen at the end of that day, that's okay.
At least you're in front of them.
Yeah, you just started.
Yeah, it's always good to be in front of the people, that part of the touch.
Yeah.
Part of the touch.
And when the pandemic happened, kind of shut down the whole thing. And then we were like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Because we couldn't show houses for like almost a month. Like real estate world kind of shut down a couple of weeks at least, right? And then we didn't know how to reach out people because most people are like, don't you come in here.
Yeah.
So care calls, care messages, care handwritten card, message or whatever. That's what the main follow up or contact method that we all that a lot of agents use. And that was very successful because it wasn't about them, how's everything, you guys need anything when toilet paper or anything like that was gone from the world. But did you see anywhere that's selling toilet paper? Just that kind of phone call. Because having that care call is really, really effective and it's huge. So. Yeah, is it 10 already? Almost. We don't have much to go, guys.
It's okay, to end early.
I don't know. Yeah.
People don't mind if you.
That's good. We're gonna have to talk about conversion rate, so. Not fun. Yeah.
When you mentioned about adding like information with maybe a particular client, how do you do that on command? So let's look for example.
Yeah.
This is
Like
my, this is my,
Kelly or
This is command,
What's the app? Oh, okay.
so this is my, I don't need continue my- Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So we're on, phone, I think you just have to click this plus sign, and now you get to choose add activities. Yeah, you can just add note, but you actually, let's say you just talk, that's this person, you click add activity. And now you can select here, phone call or meeting, or they were one person, face-to-face meeting, phone call, email, they can the member of the interview, and then they put phone call like that. Next day, did they answer? Did they leave a voice message, or we actually got? And if you talk, under description, you can write, document what you talked about.
Okay.
Let's say, this is a seller prospect, and they're thinking they're gonna retire by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Let's say, the seller John is gonna retire at the end of the year, they're not quite ready to list the home yet. Follow up, they
Yeah,
call,
just right.
they call me to call you in 6 months.
Okay.
We call.
Okay.
They tell you to call me back in 3 months, always call, a little early to tell what they say.
Okay. Yeah, so the reason why I asked because, on command, on the laptop, I didn't know where to write the notes. If I do, let's say if I had a call with one of my clients.
I think it's very similar to that, actually.
Yeah, maybe I didn't, yeah, I just need to learn how to use this one.
Yeah,
better.
once you mess around with the command, or
Wow,
would know. So-
yeah.
even though you use desktop, same thing, the class now.
The plus sign, okay. I don't even remember seeing that. how
It's
it-
usually on the somewhere on the right hand side
Right.
corner. Yeah, I'll show you if I can get out of this screen.
Like now,
Once you
now.
are good through everything, then I don't care about the slide.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you. Makes sense.
Okay, move. So the second half is gonna about the conversion. Right here, improve your conversion rate. Conversion rate is, what's the percentage of the actual appointment to those that said yes to the appointment. So like say you ask 10 people for appointment and 8 say yes, then your conversion rate is equal to that. Why do you want to know about it? So you can make, get to know about your business. How you are performing basically. So lower the conversion rate, even though you have many leads and you're asking for appointments, but then your conversion rate for some reason is 20% or something like that, maybe there's something you can improve on. Maybe check on quality of the leads. Are you asking to the leads that are maybe C category, not ready, capable, kind of quality leads, or it could be your skill. The skill means usually conversation skill. Nothing wrong with how you talk, anything like that, but how you close for the conversion, like how you close for that point. Script to guide them through to make that decision. That's what a script comes handy. And unfortunately, I don't know if it's in there. But if not, then let me know. I think I really have something to do, different scripts, but that I can share about that too. So ultimately, my role playing and tracking the script is to also improve your conversion rate. That way you're doing your business more effectively. You're doing lead follow-up effectively. More appointments means more chance that your leads that turn into appointments are going to be your clients. That means you are that much closer to the patient. Yeah, without these becoming clients, remember, no sales, meaning no money coming into our. Oh, right, there you go. So this is how you improve your conversion rate time block to make sure you do lead follow-up and you qualify them. Remember lead follow-up and having conversation with them to also guide them, provide information, sharing your value. So they will say yes, they will see reason why they should work with you. And use system and conversions, the system, 36 touches to do the database to make sure you touch everyone. So no leads fall through the crack. And connect with your whole database. Oh, that's why we need to share that with you that do the database too. So you can connect with every single one of them. without having a biases. And I do have a biases too, so that's a good reminder for me that, okay, I don't skip certain somebody, right? And we can all talk about it, prioritize qualified leads. We don't want to be asking appointments who are not going to be ready to sell the next 10 years, or, you know, like, so who's not ready or capable. You want to,
This would be I met it.
oh, really? Oops, sorry, I didn't see.
They
I don't know how to do that. Usually it pops up. in-
popped up, but I think they might have canceled out.
Oh, sorry, if I missed it. Oh, wait.
So,
Oh.
I think that-
It's-
So,
I feel like we went through this over. But well, you kind of know this already because we went through. Every leader has the potential turn into business, right? By doing lead follow-up. Basically they want to say like, no bad leads, you just. If they say no, really went through this already, but if they say no to appointment, they go to nurture. These to say nurture part, the cultivate phase, and when they're ready, you keep asking appointments until they say yes. If they say no again, they go back to number 4. Number 4, cultivate, and then close for another appointments when they are. ready. Aha. It's almost over, right? Yeah, so it wasn't that much about the conversion rate. Any questions? No? Yeah, great. Well, actually, the class is all done for the day.
yeah.
Yeah, recap, well, are there any questions? If anybody has anything, please share, feedback, anything? There.
So I'm going to follow
Okay, yeah.
up, because, so, follow up.
Yeah, go ahead. Any questions? Any thoughts? Well, let's talk about your experience, lead generation, or anything about real estate.
My experience so far with the lead generation, I'm slowly building my database. What I do is I contact people on my phone, my phone, the one that I have a great conversation with, and I connect with them. Or again, I move them over to my command database that I have, and then I try to collect as much information I possibly can on them. But I usually don't push too much. Usually it's like their first name, kind of how I know them. Sometimes I don't really know their first and last name. I just keep it casual, so I don't put their first name with a little comment or right next to their name, how I know them, or where I know them, or something like that. Then I keep the phone number and email if I possibly get it. Then I try to see where they're at when they comment, what is their buying process, and if they're ready, I can book an appointment. And also I just call suddenly if I have an open list, then I call around the neighborhood area. That's kind of how I do my lead generation. All right, right now I'm trying to implement the farming. I was talking to a title company, like he usually walk around here. So I was talking to him, and he also helped me with a bigger part of lead generation. So
Geographic.
yeah, I had geography. So actually I'm not coming with him today from I2, so we will work on that part. So I just want to have different form of resources,
Absolutely.
working simultaneously,
Yeah.
and hopefully we'll be able to start collecting it.
Yeah, we definitely want to have a multiple resources. Basically 5, right? At least 5. Maybe start with
What do you
3.
mean by that?
These are where your leads come from. It could be, for example, it could be open house. It could be your database, friends and family, past friends, anybody that you know. It could be geographic farm, where you farm means you pick an area, any neighborhood, anywhere you like, and you basically, typically the door knock, phone call, or send flyers monthly basis. Basically advertise yourself and you become the neighborhood expert over time. So the people who live in that particular neighborhood will call you when they're ready to buy or sell or refer somebody. And it could be cold calling, expires, sponsored by owners or anybody, circle property, calling around the listing, that's sold in escrow or whatever, just listed. That could be that, or agent referral from other agents, that could be that, or vendor referrals, or it could be anywhere. Could be probate, could be divorce, you pick niche fund, that's called a niche fund. It could be that, but it's good to have more than one or two resources. I'll say 5, but start with 3. And then once you establish the resource, then you expand it one thing at a time. Yeah. And then when you follow up, I wanted to also mention, I don't know if they went through this about this profile.
This profile, what is it?
EIC. EIC.
We haven't talked about it, but I think, go
Profile,
on.
oh, the-
Yeah.
Like, do not.
It's that personality profile.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, if I remember,
Let's talk about that. I don't-
it's in your somewhere in like a bit, yeah. I think
I don't think I'm.
You're like this.
But yeah.
everyone falls into, I don't know, I think the DICS. This,
Okay.
D means dominant, direct, like a driver type. I is impression or like expressive. C is like data, like engineer type people, like data precise. And S is steady type. Like, so actually the way people talk faster here. DI talk tend to be faster. C and F can be a bit slower than compared to D and I. So knowing your clients or leads type, and a lot of times people don't just fall in one thing. I'm DC. My dominant is C, and then my secondary is C, but they're almost equally. But I am completely opposite INS. So knowing your client's type and knowing their dominant, then you don't ask them to, would you please take a test? But by knowing them, talking to them, you know what's that is. So people who like data, C type typically. So they want to be, when you're talking to that kind of C client, they want to know about the data stats. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure 25% of what but the last year we tried, so they want to see charts, they want to see the whole full on data thing. D, no, I'm kind of opposite from my own personality. Or direct. So is it good by or not? Yes or no? You know, really direct. And I am more, they're about feelings. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. When you walk in the house with the G, so you got, this, that, bullet point, that. You walk in with the I. So when it's so welcomes you as you walk in, and sunlight comes through this, like so much feeling. That's how they connect. This is basically explain how you connect with your leads. Yeah, because if I'm talking to a D person coming in like I or S style, we miss. Like it's almost like different language we're speaking. We understand about like it might be if I give like a whole skill about, let's say about the about home description. Or like I just want to know. Yeah. So knowing that and adjusting the way you communicate with your lead based on their personality make a big difference. So when I communicate with the D, bullet point, blah, 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 I won't have this whole paragraph about explaining what those bullet points are, because they're not gonna read it. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a deep conversation. They have like a whole seminar about this, but you can Google this profile test. I think it's still free online. So
Case study? Yeah,
You
this-
can take it yourself.
Yes, yeah, the personality, yeah, the kind of original like communication style and all. Just so you know what your profiles are,
yeah.
and then it's interesting. Yeah, I would definitely recommend taking your own test and find out what your profiles are, and then read about it, because each your whole page is about what each personality type communicates or how they communicate and all that stuff. So when you, it's interesting, the practice on your family. So you like start learning about it, and it's really good, good, I guess, skill to have, especially when you are meeting with your client. And let's say I'm meeting with Christy and Chris at their home for a listing presentation. If they are more like the deep personality, I want to adjust my conversation step to deep. Yeah. So that way I don't lose them. It's all about connecting with the client. Right?
Sometimes a lot of people are different, like we're completely different too.
Mhm.
Yeah, some are the I or the IS.
Or it changes.
Yeah.
So like when I'm talking to Chris, we split point styles, right? Conversation, when I talk to people at the same table, I'm talking to Chrissy, I'm gonna be more gonna talk about feel. Turn out today, if you were, how you feel about it kind of thing. Yeah, and I'm probably, talk differently when I want to see how a chart. Yes. All that stuff.
The numbers. Yeah.
So that's really effective. I don't know where the conversation was before, but any questions? Well, any questions about the real estate? Any for your business or ask me any questions?
Okay, let's say for example, like if you wanna ace your open house. With your expertise, what would you say, okay, this what you need to do to be able to do good? Because you go to an open house and just kind of like wing it over time. And
Yes.
so if you wanna like get the best out of your time.
Yeah.
What would you say, okay, I need to do this, and then like, you know what I mean?
That's one other class, but I'll give you mine, open house or by, here, about open house. So you can do so many different levels of open house, right? You can just really just show up at the day, put like 2 signs and have a flyer and get out of the way. And it was, you do that. Or you can really go through, because remember, open house is like a job interview. Yeah, remember they're interviewing. You probably just really coming in to see the house here, but there's some clients or the potential clients that are looking for agents. And how do you know you don't want to do that? By what they never put out looking for an agent. But how you hold open houses, how you're performing in that particular open house is that's how they are basically interviewing without knowing. In a way, also you're interviewing that client, you might want to work that person.
Yeah.
Right? So how I do this, that it's a preparation, takes a lot of time to.
Okay.
If it's your own listing, put face to that,
Facebook ad?
Mhm.
Okay.
open house. Do that, and also other than actual paid ads, you don't have to spend a lot. Like $20 or something like 2 days before, that's fine too. And also your social media posts announcing that you have an open house. Sneak peek of a little whatever. And if it's a brand new listing and you have time to prepare, postcard to send out or little flyer delivered to the door of the neighbors nearby. Invite them personally if you haven't time to join up. Hey, hi, my name is Emma, just the home around the corner, and we'll be having open houses this weekend, 1, 2, 4, both day. I would love to have you come over and take a look. Or if you know anybody who is looking by home in this neighborhood, please share and give the flyer about the property information. Yeah, just something like that, and you can join up, or you can leave a phone call like that for the historical property. And you can do that. So advertise, prepare your home, open house by exposing your listing, your open house. And also behind the scenes stuff, you really want to have a lot of signs and have your own open house sign. They said the generic open house sign. It costs money, yes, but you see one time that you use that to it. But even though you have 0% showing up at your open house, it's advertisement, it's a free advertisement. You paint your open house sign, run it down in the corner. And I know I hate putting signs up, but I usually put up to 20 signs. Yeah, and then on common intersection, not just one, at least two, sometimes all four. And if it's a busy intersection, one side I have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, sorry. I don't want to go crazy. Especially the multiple open houses, I want them to come to my open house, and I want them to see me over 5 other agents have corner signs. Right? So I put 1, 2, 3, the corner, this is the intersection, then I start putting 1 here, second one here, third one here. I don't think they come to my open house if they don't need to, but I see me. My past client, the place, drive by and they're like, "Hey." Yeah, that's one touch for me that they remember that I do real estate. They might know, they might not be interested in real estate, but at least they remember that. Yeah, so open house sign, don't just put 2 or 3. If it's on, oh, make sure you know open house rule, it's a condo or community or neighborhood, certain area. Certain places don't allow you to open house only in a private property area, not allowed to put it on a public area too. And also, know your staff. What's sold recently, what's available, what's available on the market, all that kind of stuff. You can get that easy one in stars. And also what the home will rent. If that home will be, let's say, a lot of times, people walking in the investors, mom and pop investors, that, not actual big time, looking for second home investment property, they always ask, so what do you think how much it's from the rent? So know how much that will rent for. So you do that research. Most agents won't know, they'll get to me, but if you know, oh yeah, maybe like about this much because that's something, but we rented out a week ago for free. You're not experts, right? In their eyes. And also, always have a flyer. Go green, but that's still flyer. If you really want to go green, have a QR code made. And you put in have a scan, because now you got your cell phone number. Or you can create a standalone landing page from command from your website and have the lead capture information type of things. You can do that. That's another class you can Google YouTube to find out. And then when they come in to sign in, oh, by the way, signing is most important. They can just walk through. You don't know, remember capture, lead capture, open house is a lead generation. Lead capture must have pages for you to follow up. Without contact information, you cannot follow up, right? And best if you have like iPad or laptop or whatever to have them type, because most handwrite information, it's really hard to decode. Yeah. So, I still use paper too. But time is important. And if you can, I used to have like that kind of, what do you call it, like construction paper, but it's a lot larger poster board thing. And I had a lot of active like stats kind of thing made, but like I had a board about the market information. And I put a corner of our house, and the person will just come and they'll look at it, and I have a conversation about that. And then so just a conversation starter for me. They might be just interested in looking at it, but then I can have, hey, yeah, have you been following the market? Yeah, this neighborhood, particular neighborhood right here was this and that. Yeah, it's a great conversation starter. You stop down. You can think about it creating every weekend, but it's worth your little time. Yeah, definitely. And you can also do live Facebook or whatever, social media thing in front of the open house, because live video they always pop up everyone's feed on top and also notify, oh, Evelyn, Alex is live again. So likely if you're checking your post, it's higher too. Yeah. And open house, make sure to follow up immediately after the open house. If you have a time between people walking in, let's say Evelyn just came and we had a great conversation, I will follow up with you text quickly. Make sure that one is right. And then I usually, for my listing, I have a video. walkthrough video of the property. So even though they just walk through, and remember, people go through different open houses, they're not gonna remember you. Even though only 4 properties doing that day, they're not gonna, is this the first one that I did? Oh, it's the first one, that kind of thing. It happens all the time. So following up immediately with something visual seems to have them remember more than following up next day. Yeah, remember, we're not that important to them. We're not gonna give you remember, we're not gonna stay there.
So how do we follow up with these, so like email them with picture of the property and those
That's
things?
even better.
like
If you're
changing
in it,
the-
even better.
Huh?
If you're in the picture selfie.
Oh, right.
Yeah, even
Okay.
better, now they see that property they went to in your face, right?
Okay.
Even it's a video message, even better.
Mm.
Yeah, my personal experience is of just plain text follow up over video text. Just me saying, hey, thank you so much for the community.
Oh, no, the video check, like, hey.
Yeah, don't care about how I live, just
Yeah.
do it. At the problem before you do it. And
Like a
then-
general message, and you use that to send
Thank
it
you
to
so much
everybody.
for watching.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, just anytime that you don't have any question, or you find an access to anyway, but in general, it doesn't have to be really long, just do it with others. But they're not gonna receive. Any video I'm learning is like first 3 seconds, 5, 10 seconds, that's pretty much stable. Very rare that it's so, usually 30, even like the Facebook says like 3 seconds watch it multiple, and then it's drastically changes the number of people actually view your whole video, even within 3 minutes. Yeah. So that's shorter, sweet, direct point. I believe it's not about, how much content in that one. It's just about having you see you again one more time. Yeah. And then most agents don't do videos. So it makes big difference. Yeah. Mhm. And you have the younger generation, so you know how to use phone. It doesn't have to be the raw, the better it is. Yeah, a little bit of mistake. That's better. That's more. Authentic. It's not, creative. It's not fake, but they can, relate it, connect with you more. Yeah, the open house, just ask questions. I personally don't like to follow around people who walk in, and then I give them let them do their thing for me, to me. I mean, everybody does it. I do differently, they do differently, you be doing differently. I have them sign, I greet them first, introduce myself, and I have them signing my guest register.
Okay.
Not the signing guest register, mine is guest registry. And I pretty much everybody signed it for me. And I always have a very first person fill out full information, it's my mom's information, but nobody knows. Right, so the next person will follow to fill out every single portion of the signing. And then when they go, after they sign in, I'll check their name, make sure, and then like when they're done for it, ask, hey, Elaine, what do you think about the home? Like, yeah, it's good. What do you think about the size? It's a little small, okay, it's about 1,300 square feet home. Are you looking for a little bit larger, like, well, except like it's 2-bedroom home, you're looking for a little bit larger, like 3-bedroom home, that kind of conversation takes place. And find out what the member 6 questions that was on the board today. You might not be able to get through everything, but that's okay, as long as you have a conversation, initiate a conversation as much as you can without scaring him. And then I'll make a note, remember, document the conversation you do, you have with your leads. For housing related topic, I just make a note, Evelyn came in first time buyer, looking for 3-bedroom in this neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. And later on, if I have a time, I'll put the detailed information. And then I'll follow up.
You write on a separate paper? Because you can't put it in a document.
Yeah, I
Everybody
have a
else-
little like little notebook that I will use, like. Yeah. But I will not really have people say for me, how many people, but. If I don't know, I'm reluctant to follow up, because I don't know who they are, what they heard, I don't know if this person will like, and talk to them, or did I talk to them? Yeah, more I document and make a note about the lead, next time I follow up, I can have a way better quality conversation. You say, are you looking to buy a home or sell a home? To, saying that same question to Evelyn when I follow up. And, it's like start from zero, but I went, yeah, and then you mentioned how you find your first home, congratulations, let's talk about that, whatever. It's a different conversation, you have a personalized, catered communication.
Yeah.
Follow up, so you will go through capture to connect. And having that kind of conversation will be way more higher conversion like that. And then, I'm big at that.
I was very excited, I was very good.
Oh, yeah, so much.
So,
So,
recognition of the open house,
yeah.
yeah, that was really good.
You are spending your weekend preparing to day of open house, for the same time will take like an hour for me, and your feet hurt, you're dealing with so many people all day long. That's like half the day of your weekend, you have to maximize it. Your time is valuable. I did it many years. So when I started, we did not have Zillow or computer. Well, we did have a computer, but not like
Right.
apps and stuff like that, right? So open house was my resource, number one resource. I was in 20s, my friends and family, well, I know they have time, but with friends are not ready to buy. So meeting new clients is mainly open house, because I did not have funds to do marketing, spending a lot of money doing marketing, or we didn't have Facebook ads and all that kind of stuff. Ads were not the same as today. So I just did open house. I asked other agents to let me host open house. And because I didn't have any listing. I just did that, and just did open house. And I didn't know any better, so I just started, like, in my level 1 open house. And it threw out, like, you just go out with the open house flyers. I don't have my own signs, like, wondering when people are gonna show up. That's how it started. And then more and more, I really need to value my time. I could be spending my time with my friends and family on the weekend, but the whole day I'm standing there and my feet are hurting because of what I feel. It's just not, wasn't really working for me. So I just become more purposeful about open house. Yeah, that's the difference. That you hold open house, but if you do purposely, you will get results from that. And these open house courses, I'm gonna get a Williams.
Can I add something to that, since you just mentioned that when you stand there, your feet hurt, I think it probably be a good idea to do an open house, to bring a little chair to sit down, and would that be a good idea or no?
Yeah, but the picture you can when you greet people.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah, I mean, when people's not there, yeah, you would just sit down a little bit, because I went to open house last weekend, and the first, there was a block of time where there wasn't a lot of people coming in, and so, yeah, we brought a chair.
And you brought this vacant to the house vacant.
Yeah,
It's
the house-
kind of somehow moving.
Yeah, we are required to have a belief to be used for the open house for the guests coming. So it's a good idea to have a chair so that people can sit down. It's hard for a lot of older people or people with disabilities. So it's good to have a chair. And also, how you remember it's a job interview. First impression is only one time, and then kind of change that. So make sure you
Presentable.
present it. Yeah, but I wear tennis shoes because my feet hurt. And for 40, wearing pea heels for 5-6 hours is not happening for me. Right? It hurts. It really hurts, and I don't want to focus on that. So I wear tennis shoes, but if I wear tennis shoes or like weight shoes or something comfortable, but I will present myself, I'm not teaching like this. Yeah. And other than that, I wanted to say something, but I can't remember. Can't remember, sorry. I wanted to say something.
Turn on the lights, air conditioning, prep the house, make sure.
Oh, yeah, make sure to turn on every light, even those bedside little lamp. Turn it on.
Make it presentable.
Yeah. Even though it's not your house, it's no listing, you make sure, turn on the light, and then make sure you walk up and turn off the light when you go. If it smells a little funky, little candle, or a little dash of vanilla essence in the oven. It smells like you're baking cookies. But if you're all occupied, something you might want to get a permission from them. And
Oh, it's a lot of little things that you could do that just makes
Absolutely.
open house just like.
Yeah. Yeah, open house, yeah, it's a big, it's a big, it's a whole, I'm pretty sure you have open house classes in the night, it's a few days, I maybe, if you're not done yet.
Open houses.
No.
Great one, that's fine.
Yeah, because if the can agent, they'll do 10 different ways. I just shared today what I do, because that's one of the source of my business, that, I mean, the people I don't know. So,
I think Sammy touched on the part of it is anything you do, whether it's open house or anything, what we do, it should be such to be purposeful. Because even with open houses, everybody has a different purpose. You know, some agents will, the purpose will be to sometimes they pick up listings.
yeah,
You know, so
really
they
don't
focus on
school work thing, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, really don't. And don't expect 10 people shows up. Don't expect the whole 10 people to work with you. Yeah, sometimes they walk in without an agent, but they're already working with an agent, so you have to ask a question. You can ask question at the time, or when you follow up, you can ask, well, since you're walking in by yourself with an agent, do you have an agent, or how are you, you say, I've been looking for a home for like 6 months now, then you can ask, okay, how are you getting a home? You don't have to ask directly, do you have an agent? This is people say yes or no, but then how are you getting into your home? Are you coming from a house? You know, how are you seeing homes you're interested? And they say, well, I do have an agent. Yeah, and find out who they are. Could be just saying that to brush you off, or it could be somebody who committed working with an agent. Or have you, since you're looking for a home for like the last 6 months, have you put offering the any homes you like? That will tell you if you work with an agent or not. Yeah, so that's a great question, right? Because you've been looking for a home for 6 months. Why not? And you can say, well, if you have your stuff, like, well, my buyers usually, you know, go home within like 6 months, even though the tight inventory is. I'm like, well, yeah, my agent did, they'll share a little bit. Yeah, you can also ask your agency. Well, what's your agent? Did he or she? Oh, and you're like, yeah, she's from, I forgot the company, and I think that maybe, so then, you know, they don't have a committed relationship. I could be wrong, but that's a sign, right? But if they have a committed relationship, if they have a written offer with an agent, you might want to ask, have you have signed the buy agreement with that agent? If they have, then you back off, so if they do have a contractual relationship. Yeah. There's so many ways. You know, then, well, if you're interviewing for another agent, you know, love to have opportunity to work with. What are you looking for in the future? Well, since you're looking for a home about 6 months, you're talking over houses, spending your time, one day you get to the right one. These days, people love it, you can see everything online, but you know. Yeah, when you walk in open house, they know what the house is. Yeah, before it wasn't like that. So you can do so many different ways, but yeah, be purposeful when you do open house for 3 hours. And you don't know who you walk with. Don't judge the way they look. You walk in shorts and cap top. It could be next summer. You never know. Yeah. And so when I took open house courses back in the days, I remember that one thing to say about not every lead that comes in gonna be your client, right? And then sometimes I have 10 people signing, 10 people coming in, nothing, like no heartbeat. But that's okay. As long as you know what your goals are, and it's a deep conversation for 50 throughout the year, how many, it's part of the business planning class, but how many open house you plan to do that year, and how many sales you plan to get from the open house lead source. And you break it down the numbers, it's a whole nother class. But then you divide how many people you get in touch with, you know your conversion and contact to close ratio and all that stuff. Then know how many contacts you need to make in order to make a sale from the open house. It's complicated. Yeah, you know, because mine is only 1 or 2 will lead per open house. That will give me enough business from open house in the future. That's like, yeah, numbers for the business. Everything is about business. It's numbers. So that's my goal. What if one will be the follow-up? To follow up. 10 people come, I only get 1 person that's a good lead. For me, based on the stats and the data, the KLA, the business and everything, it's a good open house for me. Yeah. Because I know if I keep doing that, at least getting one lead or two from one local house, I'll reach my goal. But I have to do my follow-up though. So, it's a whole different conversation, but just know that you don't have to get candy every single time. I mean, great, if you do, you just gotta follow up to find out if it's good or not. Yeah, that's a follow-up and maybe conversion. So much time, so much. Yeah, the real estate is so, yeah, so much that you start out, but just one minute at a time.
Like I had a question, can you pour out a lot of information?
I mean,
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
that person.
That's
Yeah, I
good.
been around,
It's always good to, yeah, it's always good to have. That's good.
yeah.
I'm not good. Therefore, open house, I feel like I'm ready. I feel like I have the information that I need.
And you can do open houses at any time, but I love it in weekends. But you want to be purposeful.
Yeah.
Remember, I actually did, and before I became purposeful, it was just. Have an open house, go to the sport.
Right.
But then I became purposeful, I want, it's a job interview, I mean, for that who told me it's probably one of those things that I took, it's job interview. People come in to see Chris, you know, they won't tell you I'm here to actually see an agent, they won't say that. But how you communicate with them, how the information is provided to them particularly, they will decide, they will know, they actually went through your houses and they didn't like this house. He was very knowledgeable, he was knowing a lot of things about the neighborhood, and he's personable, he I like. Remember, bottom line is people do business. But they're not, you know, that's the bottom line. So that's the chance of what house is very good because you can have a very dynamic face-to-face voice conversation, which is the most effective way. So be purposeful for everything we do. Same thing with the lead conversion too. Be purposeful to do lead follow-up, do lead follow-up to convert that lead into appointment. So be purposeful for that. And how to be purposeful? Conversation sprints. So I will be emailing, definitely have your email, so I'll email it to you and the people over there. I'll email it to you, also those scripts. And yeah, any questions, anybody from Zoom if they're still here?
What script, any kind of people?
Probably, since I'm doing lead follow-up today, I'll probably send lead follow-up, and if I can find, I'll send you an open house script. It's just a conversation guideline, you don't have to say.
Right.
Because those are the questions you should be asking, so you will get to know the lead. You're also qualifying, you wanna make sure that you're willing, able, and capable, that, even so, if that person, you know, really don't
Yeah.
wanna work with that person, you don't wanna work with that person.
Right,
Yeah, so you actually do both, like both, it's like a date. Yeah,
yeah.
3 days quickly at open house. You know, you wanna work with that person?
Do we email you to give us some of
I don't have an email, so yeah, if you could email it to me, Sammy, so that I
Okay.
can, or you can, yeah, go right.
I didn't log in right now, you put my email there.
No, actually, if you have a pen, I don't have a pen, if you would write. You need to have, we want
Let
to
me
you.
write my. I have you. I want to question.
Everybody, you have any questions or any thoughts or something to share from you two experience?
There were some common questions you get at open house. I know the rent was a good one, like, you know, it's a good one to have, and to know.
How's the market? Everybody, that's a question. But you know, last week I had open house, both weekends of the new listing. And it's the conversation's changing. I don't know. Let me ask you that too, because they already know what the how the you know property information is, and all that. Yeah.
A lot of common questions I've received are technical questions about that house.
Yeah.
Does the fireplace work? Why are the sellers selling?
Yeah.
How's the neighborhood? So try to get that information before you do the open house by talking to the listing agent and ask the same question. You know, and you're not gonna know if the fire is works or not, but you can say, I'm sure it works, and if it doesn't, and you wanna buy this house, we'll get it to work for you. If it doesn't work, we'll get it to work. We'll find out in the home inspection. So you maneuver your way around those kind of questions, but you're gonna get just questions. I feel mainly just about the subject property. Now it's your job to turn it into, convert them, change the conversation into their personal, their needs, what are they looking for, and then you start to get to know each other. And if you can work that conversation and start to warm up to them, you guys warm up to each other and you make it.
Considering it should be like, the next episode.
That's how you work that need, you capture it, and then you get their information, their phone number, what's the best way to contact you? Take it from there, and then call them the next day. Better yet, if you can get an address out of them, which they're reluctant to get, send a postcard. But you will get their email. And when you get their email, be sure to confirm that email before they leave, because they're gonna scribble it. And you're gonna say, hold on, let me make sure I can read what you just scribbled here, make sure I can read under the spelling of your name, the correct spelling of your name, confirm that info before they leave. That's vital.
When you're doing an open house for, even if it's not your own listing specifically too, you know, you can go online too, or on Zoom. You want to go in there with a mentality that it's actually take pride in your open house, this is your open house. Oh, you know, people go in there, if they don't have an agent, they're going in with the assumption that you're gonna be able to see this house. So that's why purposeful, the relationship with the listing agent, find out as much about the property, the area. That's how you're gonna sell the home. That's your goal too, is to sell the home, right? Not to capture another buyer, right? So you go in there, you're not back with the extra buyer. Especially that area, that's a great point.
For us, our number one objective is to sell that house, that particular, our first job is to sell that house, second job is to capture it.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you reach out to the other listing agent, come for the open house, number one thing, make sure you let them know, my intention is to sell that house, okay? Otherwise, they're like, my money, like you, open house, if you're gonna try to sell that.
Anybody can sit, unlock that house, turn the lights on and sit there and breathe for 3 hours, anyone can do it. It takes a salesperson to sell that house. You're gonna be a salesperson, you're gonna turn on your charm. You're gonna connect with every single person that comes through, not every single person will want to connect with you. And we always offer an option, would you like me to show you the house, or would you like me to look on your own? Give them the option, sure, some people say, yeah, give me the tour, come on this way, let's go. Have an opening script, an opening dialogue, hi, how you doing, my name's Chris.
The other way for, you know, agents to build rapport with other agents to also get more open houses, open up to them, offer to them, because listing agents are very selective with who they allow to do their open houses. You know, they work hard to get this. So another way to build rapport is also networking, right, with other agents, is to have a great follow with agents, listing agents. And then
When you
maybe
listen to them, you can have out.
That's right.
Because they protected that, if you other listing agent that holding on the house, they think to that agent for that house. So, yeah, because, yeah, like if I'm gonna have somebody on my own house, I'll pick and choose, I'm gonna make sure the person will be representing me in a manner that they don't.
Yeah.
There will be no crazy.
And if you give good quality to the listing agent, of course, we're gonna offer you many times to do the open house.
Oh, and yeah, if you're holding somebody on the open house, like you said, please provide open house report to the agent, the listing agent immediately, like after you close out and then pick up somebody, whenever you have a chance. How many people show that, what the feedback are, it's, if you see anything was like, say, one of the windows cracked or something, I mean. But it wasn't in this photo or whatever, and you might want to bring that, or the one of the lights were off, or whatever, if it's something damaged.
Something's open.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that the office. Something like that, you might already know this, but I don't know this. You just act a little care, goes a long way, most likely. agents don't do that, so, if you did like. To the listing agent after the one house, like, oh, great, she's, she will trust me. Yeah, maybe another opportunity will come, hey, so yeah, I'm free, might be busy this week, and I have another one house available, trying to. Or support me. It could be that, yeah, so they can say, have no contribution.
And when you do an open house on listing, let's say there were another agent, it could be out of state, it could be a state agent, it could be within the brokerage. Do you the listing that like the people that comes in, do you take that information and the contact and use it?
Unless the thing is required.
Okay.
But so far, I'm at 14 years, 30 on.
Okay.
Yeah. Like if I have another agent on that lead they capture, they work on that day, stays with them, that's you, you work on that one. But it depends on the agent. Just give feedback when they say, if it's negative, positive, both. Yeah. A lot of people said it's too noisy from the freeway that's right next to us. It's obvious, but like, that feedback, actually, we can use it to message that to the seller for like, let's say, price reduction. We've been on the market for 3 weeks. We have so many showings but no offers. And then we know this is the feedback from people who came to that house, right? The freeway is too noisy and too dusty. Compared to the home that I'm on, my next freeway is very comparable home. They are 25 homes and below, and it just makes sense. We need to adjust the price. But that feedback, not coming from me, somebody else. We can use that. So having feedback really helps. But yeah, please provide feedback. Pass on it. Just bring it in a nice. Awesome. Yeah, any questions?
That was pretty nice. That was
Yeah.
appreciate this.
Of course, you know where to find me, always here, over there in our office. And yeah, you can be whatever questions we have, and that's about everybody. Thank you for participating. Oh, you want me to tell you the command page? What is it? What was it
Yeah,
like?
I think you just showed it to me was on my app, which was how to add